Hello AP Human Geography students, this is Mrs. Wildey. This is our first video lecture. I like these because you can do them in the comfort of your own home. You can pause when you need to take a break or rewind it if you need to hear something again. So you should have your first day video lecture follow along questions in front of you so you can fill in the answers as you listen. Of course, you are welcome to ask questions tomorrow when we see each other, and we'll discuss this in more detail. But this way you don't have to sit in the classroom and listen to me lecture for the whole time. So we're going to just basically start with an overview of the course, what you're going to learn this year. Certainly it's about patterns and processes and all about what humans have done with them within the earth or on the earth. So our core topics, there are 7 core topics. The nature of geography, basically an introduction. We do a lot of time on population and migration, cultural patterns and processes. We're going to talk about language and religion. We talk about political geography, rural land use and more agriculture or farming. And then we also talk about urban cities, land use, and then industrial and economic development. So those are our main issues. We do typically do all of the chapters of the book in each individual chapter, but these are the overwhelming topics of AP Human Geography. So the whole idea of this AP course is that you are challenging yourself. It's a college level class, so it is difficult. Do not for 1 minute think that this class is going to be easy on you. I don't know any student that I've ever had that this class was easy. That being said, challenges are good for us, and we do learn from them. And know that by the end of this, you are so much more ready for college than your fellow peers in 9th grade. And the more of these you take, the more ready you are for college. You will be fulfilling an academic elective by the end of the course. And of course, once you take the exam in May, you could receive college credit. Depends on the college. It depends on the score that you get. This is your textbook. Everyone will have a textbook. I know we'd like to have online textbooks, but we're not there yet. Just know that these are $100 or $98.29. Please respect it when you check it out in the next couple days. Make sure that it's not falling apart. Return it if it is and say I need another one so that you don't get blamed for any damage to the book and then have to pay the $98 to replace it. You will probably read this cover to cover. I'll be honest with you. In fact, I hope you do, to be honest, because that will be one of the best tips I can give you is to actually read the textbook. We'll do other things, of course. It's out of date. It's got some issues, but it's still a good resource for the course. The course is divided into 14 chapters. The combo kids will only do 13 for the most part, but the non-combo kids will do 14. Approximately 3 weeks per unit. Some are 2, some are a little more than 3. And we also leave time at the end of the year for reviewing for the AP exam in May. This is the way the assessments are divided up, or your class grades are divided up. Quizzes, class assignments are 35% of your grade. Summative assessments, tests, and projects are worth 45% of your grade, and then the final exam is worth 20% of your grade, 15% for the multiple choice and 5% for the free response or short answer. I do have the summative assessments in bold for a reason. This is going to hurt a little bit because when you take one test, your first test, for example, that's going to count 45% of your grade. And that could mean that you could start out with all A's and then you take your first test and you make a B and already you're dropped. That will even out over the course of the semester because you're going to have probably about 7 tests the first semester and probably 3 or 4 projects. Summer reading is one of them. We also do a pop project in population and in culture. So you're going to have close to 10 assignments. So instead of one test being worth 45% of your grade, by the end of the semester it'll probably be worth about 4 or 5%. Just know it's going to hurt for a little bit, but it's not forever. And as long as you keep working and complete your assignments and ask questions, and you'll be okay, I promise. But I do want to warn you of that ahead of time. You might want to tell your parents that too. All right, so what else to expect? Obviously, I've already said this. You're going to work. It's not an easy class. You're going to have homework most nights. You should be prepared for that, and you should be willing to take initiative and responsibility for your work. This is your job as a student, is to do what is expected of you. So there will be work. There will be lots of in-class discussions and debates. I don't like to stand up and lecture, which I think you probably prefer, and I prefer, to be honest, which is why video lectures are the way to do it, so that you can watch them at home, and then we discuss them when you come into class. It's expected that you're going to do your homework, though, so that you can come in and discuss it. If we have to, if 3/4 of my students don't do the homework, then we can't do what the class activity is. So I can't move forward. You will also be expected to sort of, keep up with what's going on in the world outside of class. So when we bring in current events, you're not out of the loop. You can keep up. In terms of readings, the textbook, like I said, you'll probably read it cover to cover. We'll do a lot of articles and things like that. Pop quizzes are sort of a way for me to check on, make sure that you're doing that. So be prepared for those. The rest of it is going to be kind of what you're expecting, but I do want to make sure that you understand my expectations are very high. They're not impossible though. They're high, but they're not impossible. So, okay, summer reading. Yes, it was due on the first day of school. We also know that some kids don't find out about it in middle school. We know that some people transfer into the county over the summer and they are not informed by the counselors about it, or they don't look on the website, or they don't find out in some way. So here is the deal. You have absolute last deadline for turning in the summer reading assignment is Monday, September 8th. That is oh, you know what? I bet that's a Tuesday. I may have to change that. But I think it's the day after Labor Day, which Labor Day is always on a Monday. So I think it's be Tuesday, September 8th. I'll double check that for you. But you have until then, absolutely, to turn it in for full credit. After that day, it will be a 0 in the gradebook. There are no late work passes used for this. Do not test me on this. I promise you won't win. You have been given ample opportunities to do it, so no late work passes on this at all. Tuesday, September 8th is the deadline. The assignment is on my e-class. I can print it out for you if you need it. There's no questions that you cannot get this done by September 8th. Now, if you are done with it, you can turn it in by this Friday, the 14th, and we will be able to, as an incentive for doing that, for doing your work on time and doing what you're supposed to do, if you turn it in by Friday the 14th, we will give you another late work pass. So instead of having 3, you will have 4 for the semester. Always better to have more of those. That being said, if you need to have the time to make it better and make a better grade on it, then please do so. There is a rubric attached, so please remember to look at that rubric, because I'm not going to grade for something that is not on the rubric. As long as you've got everything that's on the rubric and it's done correctly, then you should expect 100. I mean, I have no problem giving hundreds if you do the work. But if you need the time, take the time is what I'm saying. So we can talk more about this in class, of course. Okay, if you are absent, it is your responsibility to make up the work you miss. There are lots of ways to do this. I will update the calendar on eClass with everything, usually a week out, so you can go ahead and see what you're missing, maybe even do the work that you miss. But when you come back, there is a makeup work folder on the back table that you can go to the day. First of all, you have to go to the course that you are with. If you're combo, that's first block. If you're non-combo, that's second block, or second and fourth block, excuse me. And you go to the day or days that you missed, and inside are probably multiple pieces of paper from the day that we did in class. So please make sure you look through all the pieces of paper. Don't just pick up the first one you see. There's probably multiple homework or multiple pieces of paper back there. So please look for that. And then, of course, ask me. Now, don't ask in the middle of class. Ask, in a maybe an activity, or maybe at the end of class or the beginning of class, so that we're not other classmates that didn't miss the class that day are not falling behind. This is an image of what the eClass page should look like. Remember that when you go into the student portal and you go to your courses and look on eClass, you will be looking for 2016 semester 1 Wildey. And I will, have news items. I'll have calendar items and assignments there. There will probably be online discussions and online quizzes that we do there. This is a really good resource for you to get in the habit of checking. So, all right, so homework issues or project issues. You are given 3 late work passes per semester. So come January, you will have 3 more late work passes for the second semester. But in this semester, you have 3 late work passes. What those do is not get you out of the work. Okay, that doesn't solve any problem. What that does is give you another another day's time to do the work. And if the project is due on a Friday and you need the weekend, then of course I'm not going to come to your house on Saturday and get the project. I will expect it on Monday with the late work pass. But you, once you are done with these 3, you're done. Like there's no extra, days given. So please, be aware of that. If you don't want to use them, then you will receive a 0 for the work. It's that simple. This is a college level class, and it's not going to be, you're not going to be given ample opportunities to do this. The other incentive we sort of give, I want to tell you this, is if you do not use any of your 3 late work passes, if you have 3 at the end of the semester, we will drop the lowest quiz or classwork grade for the semester. So it's an incentive to do all your work on time. You get a bonus or a reward for it. But again, as I said with the summer reading, if you need the time, then use the time. I would much rather you have a grade in the grade book than any zeros. Zeros are bad news. All right, so if you have questions about that, please feel free to ask. The AP exam is Friday, May 13th, 8 a.m. It's usually off campus, so you will need transportation. If you are in the non-combo, your exam is paid for by the county. If you are in the combo class, you will have to pay for one of your exams because you are taking both the AP Human Geography exam and the APHG exam. So be aware of that. Everyone has to pay a registration fee. It's usually about $10 or $15. Combo kids, your additional exam is $91. And that's actually, to be honest, I don't know, it might be even more because 2 years ago it was $89, last year it was $91, maybe $94, I don't know. But, just be aware that it's about $100. Supplies, I gave this to you if you came to pick up your schedule during orientation, but here they are again. They're also on my syllabus. The biggest thing I can talk about, please be aware of this test prep book. I strongly recommend it. If you know somebody that took the course last year or even the year before, you're welcome to try and buy it or get them to give you theirs. It's really good to have, especially for tests, but also for the exam in May. Okay, here's my tips for being successful. Make a schedule. Do time management. Stick to it. Prioritize. Know what's going on in your week and be able to know, okay, I got a softball game, Tuesday night. I'm not going to be able to do as much homework, so I'm going to do a little bit more Monday, or I'm going to have to make it up on Wednesday so that you know. Keep up on world events, know what's going on, current events, read newspapers, talk to your parents, find out what's going on. Be an active learner. Don't expect it to just fall into place and be entered into your brain. You have to work at it. Also, we will be looking at this website quite a bit, but please be aware of the College Board website as well. It's a good resource for you. Well, how can you help me? I would love donations of copy paper or Kleenex, hand sanitizer, cleaning wipes, those kind of things. Anything you can donate would be greatly appreciated. And then school rules, these are also on the addendum that I gave you to get signed tonight, that you're signing, your honor code, all of that. Biggest thing I'd like to say is just be prepared, be respectful, and use class time appropriately. That means go to the bathroom before you come to class. Please, 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 please. I know some of you are athletes. Drinking lots of water is very important. I am not trying to say that's not, but you do need to also be aware that you can't go to the bathroom every day. That's inappropriate. That's not okay. I can't do that. I can't just leave. So it's not expected that you will either. And I will dismiss you, not the bell. So please be aware of that. And you can read these, of course, to yourself with more detail. We'll discuss them more in class. Honor code, of course, I will stand behind and I will make you. Well, I won't make you. You don't have to sign it, but do know that that is encouraged and expected of you to sign it. And you can read that on your own, of course, and that is also attached to the addendum that I'm asking you to sign. And lastly, this is just my teacher's oath. I'm here to push you, but also to help you succeed and help you enjoy.